Hey, what's going on, guys? Bflattened here with a brand new video, and same with Harlow, who is also here with all action skills, traits, skill trees, and more. Let's go ahead and talk about the Gravitor Harlow. This is the character that I've been waiting for quite some time, the Ties That Bind esque character. Now we know all three skill or action skills. We also know all three skill trees, traits, and everything. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and go through the list. I'll give you guys the link afterwards so you can make your choices and selections as well. And we will go from there. First up, we have Chroma Accelerator, the Creative Burst skill tree. You fire a unstable energy pocket from the Chroma Accelerator, passes through enemies and deals cryo damage to all enemies that it passes through. Pressing action skill causes it to explode and deal heavy radiation damage in a large area. 0 point, press the action skill button to have Harlow's Halo Accelerator to place an enemy in stasis for a duration. Enemies that are immune to stasis take damage instead. Kind of reminds me of Ties That Bind. If you press action skill again, it causes the enemy in stasis to be slammed to the ground in the direction that Harlow is facing, and it creates a small explosion when you do so. It does have cooldown. Flux Generator. Harlow throws her Flux Generator in front of her, which projects an energy field, dealing cryo damage over time and entangling enemies. Allies inside the energy field gain Overshield. Press the action skill button again for Flux Generator to toss it again, so you can reapply and reactivate it. You've probably seen a few of these in action already just by the trailer alone, but let's go ahead and see what it looks like via skill trees, shall we? We have Creative Bursts, Seize the Day, and Cosmic Brilliance. We're going to start with Creative Bursts. We have Fire Rate, Maximum Shield Capacity and Shield Recharge Rate, and Action Skill Damage. Going down the tree, we have Reload Speed. Unstable Energy Pocket passes by an enemy, it loses a portion of its current total health and becomes frozen. All damage Harlow's unstable energy pocket deals to enemies is stored. Whenever it explodes, a portion of that stored damage is transferred into Harlow's gun, causing her to deal bonus radiation damage. Harlow gains increased elemental damage and status effect damage. Whenever Harlow applies a status effect to an enemy, she gains action skill cooldown rate. Whenever Harlow activates or re-triggers an action skill, she gains movement speed. Whenever Harlow's shield breaks, she deals radiation damage to all entangled enemies. You gain overshield equal to the amount of damage dealt this way. You get status effect duration, and increased radiation damage, requires a point in elementary. We have increased skill damage. Whenever Harlow entangles an enemy, she gains a chance to entangle another enemy. Whenever Harlow kills an enemy with the unstable energy pocket, and when she kills an entangled enemy while her unstable pocket is active, refund a portion of her next action skill cooldown. Harlow gains lifesteal against frozen enemies. If she's at full health, she gets overshield. Convert all Chroma Accelerator damage into cryo damage. When Harlow freezes an enemy, she gains increased action skill cooldown rate. It can stack. Harlow's unstable energy pocket bounces as it travels and can no longer be manually detonated. Each time it bounces, it creates a radiation explosion. Whenever it hits an enemy, it changes direction and bounces towards another enemy. Whenever Harlow freezes an entangled enemy, it deals cryo damage to itself and all other entangled enemies. Increased radiation damage and irradiation chance. Harlow gains critical hit chance with guns against irradiated enemies. Harlow's unstable energy pocket pulls enemies along as it passes by, and its detonation deals increased damage for every enemy it has already hit. When Harlow damages an irradiated enemy or an entangled enemy, you shoot a radiation dart at another enemy. Harlow deals bonus radiation damage to entangled enemies. Kill skill. Killing an irradiated enemy or killing an enemy with radiation damage leaves behind a radiation hazard. Whenever Harlow irradiates an enemy, create another radiation explosion on that enemy. As Harlow's unstable energy pocket travels, it shoots radiation darts at enemies. When you entangle an enemy while her action skill is active, automatically irradiate the enemy. Kill skill. Whenever Harlow kills an enemy with a skill, restore a portion of shields. Whenever Harlow damages an enemy with a skill, she gains increased skill damage. It can stack. Whenever Harlow's unstable energy pocket detonates, it splits into several smaller, fast-moving, unstable energy pockets. Whenever Harlow enters Fight for Your Life, she throws a free unstable energy pocket at an enemy, if there are any. For every enemy her action skill damages, you gain increased stun damage and action skill damage. It can stack. Whenever Harlow activates Chroma Accelerator, drain her shield and amp for the next unstable energy pocket. Melee Override, you attach an unstable energy pocket to her fist and slam it into an enemy in front of her. That's kind of funny. Charge skill, Chroma Accelerator gains charges as Harlow keeps it ready for a duration of Chroma Accelerator or unit, or until all charges are used. Holding the action skill creates Shattering Light early and refunds a portion of cooldown for every charge remaining. If you press your action skill, you fire a fast-moving energy pocket, consuming a charge. And that does it for skill tree number 1. Next skill tree, we have Seize the Day. Whenever Harlow entangles an enemy, she gains health regen. After triggering or re-triggering action skill, you get stun damage. Harlow gains increased action skill cooldown rate. Harlow gains critical hit chance with all skills. This chance increases every time you entangle an enemy. It can stack. Whenever Harlow triggers or re-triggers an action skill, she gains fire rate. Whenever Harlow shoots an enemy with a gun, bullets ricochet off the enemy onto all enemies in stasis. If you crit an enemy, that enemy becomes entangled. Harlow gains increased gun handling. It's doubled with an enemy in stasis. Harlow gains increased elemental damage, status effect application, and cryo effectiveness. Whenever an enemy enters stasis, spawn a homing, rejuvenating projectile that targets Harlow or her allies. The enemy is slammed, killed, or stasis ends. The rejuvenating projectile grants a decreased action skill cooldown rate and action skill cooldown rate for a duration. The target is in Fight for Your Life, they immediately gain second win as if they killed an enemy. Kill skill, whenever Harlow kills an entangled enemy, automatically entangle another. Whenever you deal cryo, you gain increased action skill cooldown rate. Harlow gains increased cryo damage. Harlow gains increased action skill duration for every entangled enemy. Whenever Harlow critically hits an enemy, daze that enemy. Dazed enemies have decreased movement speed and attack speed. Daze can stack. Entangled enemies take bonus radiation damage from Entangle. Whenever Harlow deals radiation gun damage to an enemy, restore action skill duration. Whenever Harlow kills an enemy in stasis, you create a Radiation Nova. Radiation Nova deals damage based on remaining action skill duration. Kill skill, killing an entangled enemy restores a portion of Harlow's action skill cooldown and action skill duration. Whenever Harlow dazes an enemy, she also entangles them, and then she gets movement speed. Harlow's done damage deals bonus cryo damage for every enemy she has in stasis, which can stack. Pressing action skill places an additional enemy in stasis at the cost of action skill duration. When stasis ends, automatically slam all enemies straight down. Whenever Harlow critically hits an enemy, she briefly puts that enemy into stasis. This form of stasis lasts for a short duration or until the enemy is shot again. Harlow deals bonus cryo damage with all sources. All cryo damage Harlow deals gains lifesteal. If Harlow's health is full, she gets overshield. All damage dealt to enemies in stasis is stored whenever an enemy is slammed or a stasis ends. Cryo explosion based on all stored damage and centered on that enemy. She also automatically freezes other enemies nearby. Whenever Harlow freezes an enemy, create a aura that deals constant cryo damage to enemies around it. The aura deals increased damage based on her overshield. The more full, the more greater the bonus is. Whenever you deal cryo damage with an action skill, she gains a chance to freeze that enemy. Whenever Harlow freezes an enemy, she gains increased action skill cooldown rate. Whenever Harlow deals non-cryo damage to an entangled enemy, she deals bonus cryo damage to that enemy. If she deals cryo damage to an entangled, she gets increased bonus damage. Whenever Harlow slams an enemy, create a singularity on that enemy, followed by a cryo explosion. Harlow gains increased splash damage. Killing an entangled enemy causes an elemental explosion on other entangled enemies. Whenever an enemy Harlow has in stasis dies, a new enemy automatically is added to stasis. When this happens, Your action skill cooldown resets, however, it drains quicker. Whenever Harlow deals splash damage to an enemy, she gains a chance to trigger entangled splash damage, entangled damage share again. Killing an entangled enemy restores a portion of Harlow's action skill duration. Every time Harlow slams an enemy, gain increased slam damage and slam bonus radius. Enemies in stasis take decreased damage. Press action skill to slam all enemies in stasis straight down. Kill skill, whenever Harlow kills an entangled enemy, she gains a chance to instantly fully restore her action skill. And that is tree number 2. Final tree, we have Cosmic Brilliance. Harlow gains increased maximum shield capacity and increased maximum overshield capacity. Harlow deals increased melee damage, and her melee attacks gain a chance to entangle enemies. Whenever Harlow applies a status effect to an enemy, she gains a chance to apply that status effect to each entangled enemy. Whenever Harlow entangles an enemy, she and her allies deal increased critical hit damage. Harlow and her allies gain increased reload speed for every entangled enemy. Enemies inside Harlow's flux generator lose all elemental resistances. Harlow and her allies increase inside her flux generator gain increased status effect. Whenever Harlow irradiates an enemy, she gains increased gun damage. It can stack. Your flux generator gains increased radius. Whenever she retrieves flux generator, she creates a cryo hazard where her flux generator was located, and a radiation hazard whenever she places her flux generator. Only one of each of these hazards may be active at a time. You get increased cryo efficiency. Harlow deals increased gun damage based on her overshield. The more that you have, the bigger the bonus. Whenever Harlow deals radiation damage to an enemy, she gains increased action skill damage. It can stack. Whenever Harlow shoots an entangled enemy, she and all her allies restore a portion of their action skill cooldown. Whenever Harlow freezes an enemy, she receives a stack of 0 point. For every stack of 0 point, her action skill duration freezes enemies for a short time. While her action skill is cooling down, Harlow deals bonus cryo damage with all of her melee attacks. When her action skill is active, you deal bonus radiation with melee. Harlow's flux generator gains increased action skill damage. It's increased based on how many allies and enemies are inside the flux generator. Harlow deals increased damage with all sources of entangled enemies. Enemies inside of her flux generator take further increased damage. Harlow deals bonus damage with guns, melee, and action skill while she has overshield. The more she has, the bigger the bonus. Whenever Harlow entangles an enemy, she gains increased action skill damage, action skill duration, and action skill cooldown rate, which can stack. Charge skill, whenever Harlow relocates her flux generator, it teleports to a location in the crosshairs, consuming a charge and creating a shock burst that deals shock damage to enemies inside it. Grants a free second wind to allies and heals allies within the flux generator. Harlow gains increased status effect chance. Whenever Harlow places a status effect to an enemy, it becomes entangled. When Harlow re-triggers her action skill, the next shot fired from her gun drains her shield and deals bonus radiation. Damage based on the amount drained. Harlow gains gun handling, which is further increased with every enemy in the flux generator. Whenever Harlow and her allies are inside the flux generator radius, they deal bonus cryo damage. Whenever Harlow and her allies leave the flux generator radius, they instead deal bonus radiation damage for a duration. Whenever Harlow inflicts cryo or radiation status effects, the enemies become entangled. Press and hold melee attack to make Harlow swap places with her flux generator. Whenever Harlow critically hits an enemy, she gains a chance to entangle and refill a portion of her gun's mags. While her shield is down, Harlow gains increased status effect chance. Harlow's crits with guns deal bonus radiation. Harlow's flux generator occasionally shoots radiation projectiles at all enemies outside of its radius. If they irradiate an enemy, the generator will drag them within the radius. If you re-trigger, the flux generator creates a singularity burst that drags in enemies and increases action skill power. Harlow and her allies gain ricochet chance against entangled enemies. Critical hits double this chance. Ricochets have reduced damage. Harlow gains increased crit damage. Whenever an enemy is damaged by the action skill, the next shot to that enemy will be an automatic crit. Whenever Harlow activates her flux generator, she gains damage reduction and increased action skill duration for every entangled enemy and each additional enemy she entangles while her action skill is active. Harlow and her allies gain lifesteal against entangled enemies. Whenever Harlow's action skill damages an enemy, restore a portion of her health and ally shield capacity. If the shields are full, gain overshield instead. While Harlo's action skill is cooled down, she grants herself and her allies increased reload speed and fire rate. Harlo's flux generator occasionally throws grenades. If Harlo or her allies are inside the flux generator and have a grenade equipped, it throws a copy of that grenade. Harlo spawns a Halo sidekick for each ally inside of the flux. Halo sidekicks automatically fly to each ally and hover over them, granting them gun damage, fire rate, and reload speed. If you re-trigger, the Harlo's Halo sidekicks to increase their effects. It stacks, while overloaded, Harlo's action skill duration drains faster. And that is skill tree number 3. And that also completes Harlo and her skill trees and action skills. Harlo is going to be a very overpowered character, and I could just tell already. If you made it to this point, to the end of the video, I'm going to be going over builds with Harlo and also other characters as well. Probably live on stream whenever I'm complete the pre-sequel and also Borderlands 3 on our road to Borderlands 4. Feel free to check that out at twitch.tv/Bflattened. Make sure to check Discord or Twitter whenever the streams go live so you can not miss out on anything. And I will see you guys in the next video. My name is Bflattened. I'm signing on out of here. Take care all. Laters.